Level 1. The watching. You don't join the streets, you absorb them. At 11 years old, you learn to move quietly. You learn which sidewalks belong to who. You learn that certain colors mean safety, and others mean danger. You learn that sirens at night don't wake your mother anymore. She works double shifts. She sleeps like the dead. Your father is a photograph in a drawer no one opens. The men on the corner wear blue. They laugh loud. They never seem afraid. When they walk into the liquor store, the clerk nods before they even speak. When they cross the street, traffic slows. They look like kings ruling cracked concrete kingdoms. You are small, invisible at school. Teachers mispronounce your name. Other kids shove you into lockers. You don't fight back. You don't know how. But the corner sees you. Run to the store, one of them says one afternoon, flipping you a few crumpled bills. You run. You don't ask questions. You come back fast. They nod. That nod is the first time you feel chosen. They call you Pee-wee. You pretend not to like it, but secretly you do. It means you belong somewhere. You start hanging around after school. You sweep the sidewalk in front of their spot. You watch their backs when police cars roll slow. You carry messages you don't understand. You hold packages without opening them. You learn silence before you learn loyalty. At night, lying in bed, you replay their laughter in your head. You imagine one day someone stepping aside when you walk by. That dream is small, but it is enough. Level 2. The breaking. 14 comes fast in neighborhoods like this. One night the air smells like rain and asphalt. The big homie pulls you aside. He doesn't smile. You ready? He asks. You nod before fear has time to bloom. They form a circle. You step into it. You already know what happens next. You've seen it before. You told yourself it wouldn't hurt that bad. It hurts. Time stretches into something endless and sharp. Fists come from every direction. Boots strike ribs. Concrete meets your cheek. Someone shouts numbers. You try to stay standing. You tell yourself kings don't fall. You fall anyway. By the time it's over, your ears ring like church bells. Blood coats your tongue. A hand lifts you up. Someone hugs you. Another laughs. You good now, they say. You're not, but you are theirs. They give you a new name. It replaces the one your mother whispers when she thinks you're asleep. It replaces the name on your school papers. Your government name fades. You feel reborn and erased at the same time. You walk home that night bruised and swollen. Your mother asks what happened. Basketball, you say. She stares at you for a long time. She knows. She says nothing. Silence becomes a shared language. Level 3. The proving 16 is not sweet. It is steel. Now you're expected to act, not just exist. The older ones don't explain much. They just look at you and you understand. Respect must be earned in public. Fear must be maintained in private. You run errands that don't feel like errands anymore. You stand on corners that used to intimidate you. You hold things that could change your life in seconds. You tell yourself you're protecting the neighborhood. You tell yourself outsiders deserve what happens to them. You tell yourself this is survival. But the first time someone bleeds because of you, something cracks inside. It doesn't break completely. Just enough to let darkness in. Money starts appearing in your pockets. Not much, but enough to buy shoes you've only seen in magazines. Enough to bring home groceries without your mother asking questions. She notices the food. She doesn't ask how. You sleep with one eye open now. Every car that drives slow feels like a threat. Every shadow looks like a rival. You keep your phone close. You memorize escape routes. You also memorize faces. Funerals become familiar. The first one shakes you. The second makes you angry. The third makes you numb. You tell yourself numb is better than scared. But numbness spreads. Soon you don't feel much of anything at all. Level 4. The weight 18 feels old. You've survived things most adults haven't. You've been questioned in rooms with bright lights and colder men. You've learned how to say nothing without looking guilty. The older leaders notice. They give you responsibility. Now younger kids look at you the way you once looked at the corner. They copy your walk, They mimic your slang. They want your approval. You give it carefully. You tell them to be smart. You tell them to move cautious, but you also send them into situations you wouldn't send yourself anymore. You manage a block now. You decide who stands where, who works which hours, who needs discipline. Money flows upward. Some sticks to your hands. You start thinking long term. You start planning instead of reacting. You feel powerful in a different way, but power comes with paranoia. If something goes wrong, eyes turn to you. If someone talks too much, it's your problem. If violence spills over, it stains your name. You begin to understand the cost of leadership. It's not glory, it's insomnia. Level 5. The Crown of Thorns by 22. You've done enough to be trusted. You've also done enough that there's no turning back. You've spent time behind bars. Not long, but long enough to taste the metal in the air. Long enough to feel how small a man can become in a concrete box. You kept your mouth shut. That matters. When you come home, they celebrate you. You feel like a returning warrior. But something changed in that cell. You learned that loyalty is currency. You learned that information is more valuable than money. You learned that survival sometimes means sacrificing others before they sacrifice you. You run multiple corners now. People report to you. Problems arrive at your doorstep daily. You mediate conflicts. You punish disobedience. You negotiate fragile truces. You tell yourself you're maintaining order, but the order is built on fear. You drive a better car, wear better clothes, live in a place your younger self would have called success. Still, police cruisers slow when they pass you. Still, rivals whisper your name. You realize something one quiet night. The only exits from this life are prison or a grave. You start wondering which one has your name on it. Level 6. The Architect 28 feels ancient. Many of the boys you grew up with are gone. Some in cemeteries, some in cells that will never open. You are still here. That makes you dangerous. You don't touch the streets the same way anymore. You operate behind doors, through conversations, through subtle gestures. Money moves differently now, cleaner, smarter, hidden inside legitimate fronts that make neighbors praise your hustle. They don't see the strings attached. You hold meetings in back rooms. You listen more than you speak. When you do speak, the room goes quiet. Your word carries weight. But weight presses down. You check mirrors constantly. You change routines. You trust very few. Ambitious younger leaders eye your position. They smile to your face and calculate behind your back. You've become what you once admired and what you once feared. Power isolates. You attend fewer funerals because you've stopped going altogether. Grief became inconvenient. You tell yourself you can't afford sentiment. But at night, when the city hums low and distant, memories come back. Faces, voices, moments when you could have walked away. You never did. Level 7. The cage. The arrest doesn't surprise you. It almost feels inevitable. Years of investigation culminate in flashing lights at dawn. Doors splinter. Commands echo. Cold metal cuffs bite into your wrists. You knew this day might come. Still, it hits like betrayal. The courtroom feels theatrical. Prosecutors paint you as a monster. Reporters scribble notes. Family members avoid your eyes. The sentence is long, long enough to erase decades. Prison strips away illusion quickly. You are no longer untouchable. You are an inmate number, but influence follows you inside. Old alliances resurface. New ones form. You navigate a different battlefield now, one of whispers and hierarchy. Even caged power persists. You make decisions that ripple beyond walls. Messages pass through visitors and coded conversations. The street still listens, but nights are quieter here. Too quiet. You lie on a narrow bed staring at a concrete ceiling and realize something painful. Authority is not freedom. You can command men. You cannot command time. Years stack up. Birthdays pass. Funerals you can't attend pile like unpaid debts. The cage shrinks your world to measured steps and scheduled meals. For the first time since you were 11, you feel small again. Level 8. The legend 40 arrives like a ghost. If you're out, you move differently now. Slower, wiser, more distant. If you're still inside, your name travels through corridors like myth. Stories exaggerate. Young members speak about you with awe. Half of what they say isn't true. You don't correct them. Legend is armor, but legend is lonely. You no longer run daily operations. Younger leaders handle the chaos. They come to you for advice, for validation. You offer it sparingly. You've learned that survival is sometimes about knowing when not to act. You build legitimate structures, businesses that actually function, foundations that appear clean. You tell yourself you're stabilizing things. You tell yourself you're reducing harm. Family sees a different version of you now. A grandfather, a businessman, a man who wakes early and reads quietly. They don't know the full story. You hope they never do. Level 9, the reckoning 50 feels surreal. You sit on a porch and watch boys on the corner who look like children. They wear the same colors, speak the same coded language, chase the same illusions of respect. They don't know your name. That's fine. Recognition no longer feeds you. Regret does. You count losses like scars, friends buried, enemies destroyed, years vanished. You wonder what your life might have looked like without that first nod from the corner. Would you have been invisible or free? Your son didn't follow your path. You made sure of it. Fought him harder than you ever fought rivals. He hated you for years. Now he thanks you. Your grandson points at your tattoos one afternoon and asks what they mean. You pause. They're mistakes, you say. He nods, satisfied. But the truth lingers heavier. Their history carved into skin. You drive past your old block sometimes. The buildings look smaller. The corner feels less grand. There's a new Pee-wee standing there, watching, waiting for someone to see him. You see him. He reminds you of yourself, hungry for belonging, desperate for recognition. You want to pull over, to tell him the truth, that the path ahead is paved with funerals, that respect built on fear dissolves into paranoia. That power without peace is a prison. But you don't stop, because you know something tragic. At 11, warnings sound like weakness, and the cycle doesn't break easily. It feeds on absence, on poverty, on silence, on boys who just want to be seen. You sit back on your porch that night. The city hums like it always has. Sirens in the distance, laughter somewhere down the block. You close your eyes. For decades, you chased power. In the end, all you really wanted was belonging. And belonging, you finally understand, should never cost this much. This is every level of gang life explained. Not as glory, not as legend, but as erosion. Slow, relentless, and almost impossible to undo.